Egypt, a new frontier for renewable energies. The country in question is banking on the wind and the sun to feed the growing demand for energy. And in order to fulfill the target set out by the government in Cairo, some 10 billion euros in investments will be necessary from now until 2020. But what exactly are these targets?
We have a number of targets. We would like to reach 20% of our electricity mix from renewables by year 2022. In order to do that, we have a number of schemes, actually 4 schemes. Competitive bidding scheme where suppliers compete, and a merchant type scheme where the suppliers have direct relation with the end users, and we have a recent feed-in tariff scheme.
The Egyptian market is unsurprisingly tantalizing for the Italian industry, headed by Enel Green Power.
The whole African continent is extremely interesting. It's where we see further growth in the years to come. We have subdivided Africa into essentially 2 big areas, the Sub-Saharan and the Mediterranean one. We have won 420 megawatts of new projects in South Africa last week, and now we are participating to tenders in Morocco and Egypt. We're looking at Algeria. I think it's going to be an extremely interesting area for us in the next few years.
The Enel Group has for a long time kept a watchful eye over the Mediterranean basin. Right here at Enel's headquarters, the Res4Med organization was presented in 2012. It brings together industry players and experts for the purpose of monitoring developments in this geographical region. Today, the focus is on Egypt. Over the course of a few years, the scenario has changed dramatically.
The prevailing paradigm at the time was that renewable were bankable only if they could be exported to Europe. In a way, the renewable would be resources good for us. Now, things have changed so much meanwhile. In Europe, we have efficiency, we have economic crisis, no more request of energy. So the new logo now is we go to them to work with them. And that's why today we have this wonderful day with Egyptian stakeholders.
The numbers are enticing. In Egypt alone, there are some 90 million consumers. And over the past 10 years, the electricity demand has grown by 7% per annum. Even the International Energy Agency says renewables are a viable solution to power growth.
In a moment where Europe is stagnating in demand and it's more difficult to invest in renewables in Europe, and in particular in southern countries like Italy and Spain, for Enel it's very important to look at strategies of deployment elsewhere, and of course close to Italy it's the first place to look at.
But it is first of all necessary to debunk myths. For example, the idea that renewables do not generate the same power as fossil fuels. Res4Med is thus used as a platform to launch a global information initiative. It basically says renewables have come into their own.
Really what it seeks to do is to try and address some of all these myths that there are about renewable energy. We hear all the time that it's too expensive, that it's small scale, that it doesn't work, it's not reliable.
Still, some question marks beg for an answer. Is the economic and political situation in Egypt stable enough to reassure investors?
On the political level, the Egyptian government is committed to finish as soon as possible the roadmap. We will have the parliamentary election by the end of this year, which will give more support and more confidence to foreign direct investment.
Is there solid sector legislation?
There is a stable and moving and developing environment for the regulator, and it's moving forward, and hopefully sooner the electricity law is going to be declared since it's approved by the state council.
And again, as the price of oil plummets, is there an economic case to invest in renewables?
The problem is not the price of the oil, if it is going down or not, but it is how is it sustainable for the future, for our grandchildren.
And last but not least, don't renewables need a backup in the form of a smart grid, given the greater volatility?
The first priority for a country like Egypt, as any other developing countries, is to invest in network infrastructures. So more than smart grids or very sophisticated and technological advanced infrastructure, we need infrastructures.